Book your driving lesson now at dla-driving.co.uk. Sponsored by DLA Driving Schools.
Hello and welcome to Owen the Town. Second consecutive away defeat in the space of a few days as we lose 3-0 at Leeds, and then we followed by, for me, a very frustrating 4-2 loss at Carrow Road against Norwich. I truly feel we could have come away with something at Norwich, and at the end of the match, the away fans, the Hatters fans, let the players know their feelings about the game, and we'll talk about that in more detail. Post-match, Rob was the angriest I've ever really heard him, putting the blame entirely at the hands of our players. And we ask you, should they take responsibility? We'll have your opinions on that as well. 3-word review, much more. And I sound a bit disappointed because I really am. Not because there's only one extra person here with Darren. Thanks for coming up tonight. Bataro and Steve said they're ill. Got to believe them, haven't we?
Couldn't face the music, could they?
No, I think that's probably what it was. And I would say, actually, before we go on, because I know Steve will listen back to see how good we are. Steve, thanks for getting the tickets where you did. That was a great place to stand up. I love standing at football. There's hardly any safe standing at Carrow Road, but we was right at the very back. And I went up and I thought, I won't be sitting down today. That's brilliant, because sometimes you have to, don't you? What are you thinking? The Leeds United game. So we've had Middlesbrough where we got stuffed. Leeds United where, if I'm honest, we were very... I don't know how to describe that performance, Darren. What would you call it? Lapsadaisical is the wrong word. Not very aggressive, not very front-footed. It was just like we were there and, maybe we'll get something.
It's a bit meh. Wasn't it? Meh. But equally, it's Leeds. And
Leeds at the top of the table as well. Yeah,
Leeds at the top of the table, absolutely flying. And we didn't expect anything there. I think we still want to see some kind of fight, some kind of desire, some passion. And there really wasn't any. It was a bit of a nothing game, was it?
Well, we conceded really early, didn't we?
Yeah.
Again.
So
what did you make of that goal, by the way? Because I felt that we had chance to clear it. You shouldn't let the guy juggle the ball like he did and then fire it in on his own,
I mean, you're asking me 2 games.
Well, I know. I just sitting there thinking.
I know what you mean.
It sort of sets the pace for the next game, doesn't it? Yeah. Allowing that opportunity to happen is the player.
Yeah.
Was it brilliant? Not really. There was 2 around him. Should we have stopped him? Yeah, we should have done.
Yeah. We're chopping and changing players, different players playing in different positions. So I guess that's where it comes into it. Yeah, we could have done better.
But ironically, though, Darren, if you think about it, at Leeds, we had 2 glorious chances. We could have gone in at 2-1 at half time. We could have. If you think about, we had, Burke's header.
Should have, and you'd expect Burke to do much better than he did.
I think he was disappointed with himself.
Yeah, we could have got something.
And we went in at 2-0.
Could have got it, but we didn't.
No,
we didn't.
And it was a sucker punch, and that was game over then.
Yeah,
early goal, late goal.
Yeah,
late goal
again. Yeah,
and
the timing of conceding is
it's horrendous.
Shocking. And I don't know, but arguably we conceded early, like you said, but. We are a bit, in games past where we've conceded and the heads have gone. I wouldn't say the heads went
at Leeds. I think it was inevitable at Leeds. Leeds were on that roller coaster going up. They were going up to the summit that night. They were top of the table. Yeah. That's since changed, but they were top of the table. They were not losing. They were grinding out their results. And like you say,
so arguably, is it fair to say where we come away 3-0 and not that you'd take that, but from how early they scored, it could have been far worse.
I think when you look at it as a fan, you think we sort of capitulated really. If you think about it was just very lacklustre. It was very on the back foot. It was not. We're not pressing as like we used to. And I think we were just expecting the onslaught, and it was just total onslaught.
But was there an element of trying to keep the score down? Middlesbrough, we capitulated.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell you. I just disappointed with the performance, and really, Middlesbrough super disappointed. Leeds disappointed because it didn't look like we were going for it, and everybody that travelled that night, fair play to you all.
So yeah, you got super disappointed. Then Saturday being frustrating.
Yeah, for me, frustrating. Saturday was, Norwich is a great little place to go to. It's easy to get to. There's quite a lot of us there. Pre-match was all good. Everyone around Norwich was great. And then you get in the stadium and then it just finishes wrong. But let's talk about more of that. Let's look at your 3-word reviews for Norwich City 4, Luton Town 2. Chris said, didn't expect anything. Steve, second best again. Matt, it's not improving. Lindsay, money poorly spent. Mark, silly mistakes again. Martin, Sunday League defending. Richard, lost our identity. Joe, same old story. And David, not me, can't win away. Do you want to just...
Can I go first?
You can do whatever you want. Go for it.
I mean, you could literally almost pick all of them.
Yeah.
I was marking them down here and went, Matt, it's not improving. Mark, silly mistakes again. Martin, Sunday League defending.
Richard, Sunday League defending, I'd totally go with that.
Richard, okay, Joe, same old story. Ricard.
Ricard.
Yeah, Ricard.
Was it Ricard or Richard? I said Richard, didn't I?
Yeah.
But if it's Ricard...
Yeah.
If it's Richard, you know who you are.
But lost our identity. I couldn't agree more. I've said it a few times on the pods over recent weeks. We're trying to find something, but when players keep getting injured, we keep having to shuffle the pack. We're never going to get our identity.
But it's not just on the pitch we've lost it, is it? It's in the stands as well.
The club.
But the club as a whole doesn't feel the same at the moment. I'm not saying it's not going to change, but it doesn't feel the same. And you've got one set of supporters cheering for one thing and another set of supporters want the manager gone, they want players changed, they want info. And then you've got the people that sit in the middle. And the last 10 seasons, we've all been together. And it doesn't feel that way. And then you start insulting each other. And it's not for me. It's just not for me.
No, it's no good. And talking to friends that support other clubs, and they look at us and go, they sort of follow us a little bit in the Premier League, and they go, well, what's happening? And you're right, Dave. I kind of say to them, look, it's threefold. You got a set of fans that are blaming the board for a couple of poor transfer windows. You got a set of fans blaming the manager, and another set of fans blaming the players, and dare I say, a fourth set of fans blaming the fans.
Yeah,
and nobody's helping each other here. And I must admit, I sit here and go, I don't know what the answer is. I honestly don't know what the answer is. And look, we said it before. Edwards isn't going anywhere. But ultimately, if it's another club and you're looking at another club, the buck usually stops with the manager, because the board aren't going anywhere because they own the club.
No, of course they're
not. The players aren't going anywhere because they're under contract. The fans aren't going anywhere because
you can't replace a whole team. So that's the issue. You really can't replace the whole team.
So the one that typically you'd replace as manager, we're not going to do that. It's clear we're not going to do that. So we just need to get on board, and something needs to happen. Something needs to click. But what? We can't.
Well, we need to start. Well, we need to start winning. And not just winning. We need to play really good football and play some good football and get some results. But
we don't have the players that can do that at the moment, or they're not doing it at the moment. And I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know.
Some of these players, Darren, were in the Premier League with us and they played football. Why have they suddenly lost that ability? I don't take that stance myself. I think we've just not performed enough, and I can't. I'm like you. I can't put down to one thing. The internet trolls, the Facebook pages, and I've got to say podcasts as well, us included, would sit there and go, well, it's the manager's fault because he has the training, they've lost the dressing room and all that. We know nothing about what's behind the scenes, nothing. But there is something happened with the players that, they're just not performing. Maybe if you could have that magic wand and go, and sort it, you would.
I think our recruitment over the years, we were a club that we have overachieving players, on lower wages, overachieving because they want to reach the pinnacle. We're now in this situation where we've got players earning good money, really good money, maybe even in a league where they don't think they belong, and that whole remit sort of kind of changed. And I don't know. So we're going to talk about the players having to take responsibility, certainly for Saturday. But just as a season as a whole, the players need to go. Sweet said about not being Billy Big Balls. And I think maybe I don't know. We don't know, but I think some of the players maybe think they are. How many of those? How many in that squad are sort of overachieving or where they shouldn't be? Do you know what I mean? Probably not many. So they're at their level or think where they belong. It's a real difficult one. But none of them are. Do you remember when we were coming up through the leagues? We love Luke Berry, but it was always punching big time,
I agree.
And probably was on a low wage and whatever. But he loved his football. We haven't got. I don't think we've got anyone.
No
like
one's
that.
enjoying it at the moment, are they?
No
one.
As players, they cannot be enjoying. They cannot be enjoying going into training or anything.
Well, maybe training, but
I don't know whether they. I don't know if they do. But that must the fans and it must all rub off on them. I don't think for me. I don't think there's a squad there. I think there's division in players. I think there's probably
we don't know why the reasons are. Do you feel that?
We don't.
It doesn't feel like they're cohesive together.
Not at all, and it shows on the pitch. And Pelly's not as involved now. Of course, he's at training every time and at the games, but he's not a key figure. A Doughty, you'd expect, is quite a key figure. That
injuries.
But we've seen Doughty in other events and that, and he is a life and soul of the party. So if he's not playing, not about, Locks is a life and soul of the party, and I just think there's too many big ones missing. And,
we do need that little tenacious player in midfield that just bites their ankles all the time.
Yeah.
Kevin Nichols, a lock here.
Yeah, we need that. We need leaders. I don't know. It's so difficult, isn't it? And look, I listed 3 things or 4 things that everybody's. I think it's a little bit of everything. But like we said, no one's going anywhere. Who knows, player wise, 1 or 2 in, 1 or 2 out. Maybe in January, we don't know. We know one's coming in.
I'm excited to see him if he can get a game. How he's going to be.
And look, he said maybe the new year for Doughty coming back. Look, Locke's told us himself he's aiming for January and hopefully can get back. I don't know what we want to achieve this season now, but
we want to achieve the best position we can, and it's not being in this scrap that we appear to have. Dragged ourselves down to, but the league at the moment is balmy. You can win a couple of games and you can bounce up 6 places.
No, true, it is.
But we're not winning, and we're not winning, and we're not playing well. And I think that's it. We're not playing well.
I think that's probably the most disappointing thing. Probably most Luton fans thought we'd be nearer to the playoffs than the relegation. Fine, I get that, of course.
But why not?
But we're not. Okay, we can deal with that. And I don't think. I still think we're going to end up mid-table. But it's the performances that are dreadful.
To be honest, if we won every game 1-0 and it was a crap performance, I'd be all right with that. But at the end of the day, given how we've started, you're watching other teams play and you're going, God, they're quick. They move the ball well. Yeah. And for us, at the moment, a lot of the time it feels like we're chasing shadows. But I don't think it was that way at Norwich. Let's get back to the Norwich game because I've got off on the right tangent there. Norwich 4, Luton 2. 4 changes from the Leeds game: Hashi Chong, Baptiste and Adi Bayo for Burke, Moses, Nakamba and Kraus. Surprised that Kraus didn't start. There we go.
I'm confused again, if I'm honest. And I know we're going to get onto it about players taking responsibility, but the manager puts them out there. That we're playing against a team that had only lost once in a whole year at home.
Let's put that into perspective. They've only lost once.
Yes,
that's brilliant. Brilliant home form. So you go there, and what makes us think we're going to win?
No, completely. But their league position wasn't a great deal better than ours. They have the leading goal scorer in the league. and then it came out, and then straight away on the chats we're looking at there going, that's got to be 4 at the back, surely. He's playing 4 at the back. And then you go, right, so there's no Kraus, no Nakamba. So is that Clark and Baptiste in the middle? Well, where's your CDM? Where's your protection for the back 4? You know, do you know what I mean? And I was trying to work it out against the team that very rarely lose at home, hardly ever, against the leading scorer in the league. So you go, hang on. And then when they lined up, you go, oh no, it's 5. And so Chong's left wing back.
Yeah, that was a bit of a weird one, wasn't it?
I know. And so, you know, we're trying to find something, and whether 4 at the back is what we're after, or 5 at the back. But again, I don't know. We like you said, we don't know. But you've got Bell on the pitch playing on the left of the back 3. Now, when Bell came to us, he was a left wing back. I know I like Bell more central, but he was a left wing back. You got Holmes on the bench, but he chose to play Bell on the left of the 3 and Chong as left wing back instead of, say, a Holmes and then a Bell on left wing back, which are their more natural positions. And we'll come to the second goal, obviously.
Yeah,
you know.
Let's talk about the first one first.
I don't want to jump ahead now. Okay, we'll come to the second goal, but we know who Norwich's right wing back is far too well, and you put
but he hasn't been playing for them that much, has he?
On and off.
Yeah.
But you put one of our most attacking flair forward players at left wing back up against him. When we saw him line up and there was 5 at the back and Chong was, I just went, Edwards isn't helping himself. And we've said this before. So yes, you can blame players, and we'll come on to the individual mistakes. But again, we keep saying about square pegs and round holes, and that felt like one to me.
Yeah, well, I don't think we started that badly, really. Norwich had a fair bit of the play, but I said to Steve, because Steve did come with me, everyone, and I said to him, look, for all their huff and puff, they had a couple of chances, but I can't remember Kaminsky having to make a big save. I can't remember.
So it was a bit like Middlesbrough, wasn't it?
Yeah.
First half hour at Middlesbrough, we were fine.
But the difference is, this time we scored first. And I want to say, well done, Elijah, for the movement of his feet. But also, it was Jordan Clark who pressed and made the guy pass the ball back. Norwich were trying to pass out from the back. It was horrendous. If I was a Norwich fan, as much as they'd be happy that they'd won the game, if they were playing one of the top sides, they would have absolutely took them to the cleaners with the way they were playing out. They were awful at playing. They couldn't do it.
Well, there was a couple of warnings, I think, before, wasn't there? Where and actually we got the pressing right. When we press as a team, we do press well. I know you can't do that for 90 minutes. The players the players get absolutely knackered anyway, the way we play. But they pressed, Adebayo and Clark pressed together. And fair play. Look, I give Clicker a stick on this.
You
podcast,
always do, but come on.
No, absolutely. He got the press right. He got the little deflection in. But hats off to Adebayo. That is top draw Adebayo. Top
draw finishing, right foot, left foot, goal.
Quick feet. You know, he's at his best when he doesn't have to think about it.
Yeah.
It was like, I've got to react, bang, bang, and it goes. When he's running through on goal or he has too much time, Adebayo just seems to make the wrong decisions. But when he's got to act quick like that is where he's at his best. You go back to Forest in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Chest down, bang, in it goes.
Good goal.
When he plays like that, he's unbelievable. But we don't see it often enough.
And that goal goes in at 19 minutes, and obviously in the crowd we're going mental. And maybe I'm thinking maybe this is going to be our day after all. Maybe we're just going to do it. Maybe this team is going to absolutely turn the corner and get it. And then 4 minutes later, I just don't understand. I'd like to say it was a good goal, but it's not. It's not a good goal. And so many times we can go back to when this podcast first started, where you say, if you're going to get beat, if you're going to concede a goal, let it be a really great goal, something that you can't sit here and go and criticise anyone. It was just a moment of class. But there was no class in our defending there, was there?
Just, who in the free word review the Sunday League defending? Someone, and here we go, the lack of leader at the back. Or, I don't want to call Kaminsky out, but I would have thought, from my vague experience, the ball's coming over there. I don't know who's behind Mengi. But
it's another Luton player.
Yeah. So I don't know who. I can't remember who that was. Maybe Hashi. I think it probably would have been Hashi.
Or should have been him.
It should have been him. Or Kaminsky has got to tell Mengi to leave that ball. Just duck underneath it. It goes out for a goal kick.
And then we can recoup it.
And we recoup and we go again. Look,
but where was Mengi trying to head the ball?
Where was he trying to head it?
Just back into the danger. He's either got to go out. He's either got to go over the bar or out on the side.
He's got to go. And
he's got to go to the side of the pitch.
Anywhere, but what he had to do anything.
It was
what
almost
he did.
Straight up, wasn't it?
It was straight up, right back into the danger zone. Kaminsky's got to come and wipe everybody out. He's got to come out and he's got to punch onto it. I know you said about possibly catching. I don't think he could have caught it. He would have come down in between a couple of players. So I think maybe the punch is right. But as a keeper,
he didn't really get anything on it.
Got nothing on it. You've got to come out and take everybody out and get that away. So it was a half-hearted punch. It then falls to their player who could take as many touches as he wanted. I know Clark was trying to get there, just didn't get there. I think he ducked his head, tried to get there. Look, I'm not putting blame on Clark there. The guy stepped inside. But then I think it was Baptiste and Bell. One of you do something. They both kind of, to you, chuckle brothers. And
chuckle brothers.
And then he's blasted it through 5 players into the goal. And you just go, how has that gone in?
Yeah, and it's disappointing, like 4 minutes after we'd taken the lead. And it was comical. But then, and do you know what? This is how you can see why Rob was, I want to say pissed off, actually. I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
And you can see really why he felt that way, because the second goal, for me, was even worse. And some players, they make mistakes. Players make mistakes. At every level, players make mistakes. But this was, as we've already said, schoolboy, right? I haven't been that frustrated with conceding the goal in a long, long time, in the manner it happens. Stacey should never get the ball.
Look, like we said,
should never get the ball.
But we know what Stacey is about.
Right, if you had someone the size of Sonny Bradley running back there, he's big, he stops, and Stacey doesn't even get anywhere near the ball. But I don't even know if Chong was aware that someone was chasing him.
So but then it's twofold, isn't it? Like I said, Chong shouldn't be there in the first place. He's not a left wing back, and if you're Chong in that changing room, and look, he got hooked at half time. We can probably guess why, but I'd be sitting there going, but I'm not a left wing back, Gaffer. I'm attacking midfielder, and I'm actually one of your best attacking midfielders. I create more than most others, and I can score the odd goal. So I'm not a left wing back, but still, you are there to do a job.
He says, look, we've already said if you're a footballer, there are basics that you do, and if Chong was playing in a 5-a-side game or whatever else, he'd have defended that better.
If my son did that on a Saturday morning or Sunday league,
would you sub him?
You would. I probably wouldn't sub him, but he'd damn well know about it. That is inexcusable what he did there.
Right, because we're in the crowd, because we're at the other end and we can't hear what's going on because of the noise, obviously. Someone also got to tell Chongi that Stacey's coming behind him.
Yeah, someone's got to shout man on or whatever.
Whatever they say, yeah.
But
and it was just like...
Even if there's no one there, have a bit more heart to see that ball out. He just stopped. And when they go through tactics and everything...
Good pull. Just to be fair to them, once the guy got there, it was a good pullback.
Yeah.
And it was a good pass from Stacey's good pass, and the goal, he just took it open goal, really. Of
course. But equally, then our centre halves that are covering are expecting that ball to go out because you're expecting Chong to see it out, and they can't react in time because they're not expecting that ball to square back.
It's the last thing you expect. You expect a defender to see that out of play.
So, look, we're calling Chong out. He's got enough in the bank to, but that at that stage, how important that goal was to concede at that stage of the game was an absolute killer. It's difficult. You say you're calling him out. You're just pointing out that Chong made a big mistake, and that big mistake was very, very costly. But like I said, I don't feel as though he should have been there in the first place.
And up until that point, I still thought it was in the game. We're going to get back in the game. I didn't think they were going to run away with it. And we start the second half really strongly.
Yeah.
And whether lucky or not, we create a chance and Brownie scores a goal and it's 2-2 and you're thinking, right, this is it. And I thought from that moment on, we had a bit of ascendancy in the game. I thought that we played quite well. And if anyone was going to score a third goal at the first 20 more minutes, it was going to be us. And we created some chances.
Created some chances. I don't know what the stats are specifically for the second half, but they would have been in our favour.
Yeah.
And look, we were being more dominant without being amazing, without being brilliant. But we were certainly looking better than in recent times. And you're right, Dave. I felt as though it was going one way.
It was going our way. That's what I felt.
But equally, even at that stage, you'd go, I'll take a draw still.
Oh, listen, I'm not saying I would love to have taken a draw. I just felt that the lacklustre performance we had at Leeds, the capitulation we had at Middlesbrough, it wasn't going to happen. That's in my view. I thought we were stronger.
You can't let it happen. You simply can't let it happen.
So at 2-2, why did we let it happen? Because it happened, didn't it?
Well, it did happen, and again, I've got to try and remember which way round the subs were, but it was just a bit. Look, I know we want to try and go and win a game, but equally, don't lose a game where you were leading and then you're not, and then you come back, you pull it back,
and you're away from home,
against a pretty decent team. Get a point in the bank. You've got 2 home games to come. That would have been unbelievable. And I think did Edwards, his stick or twist? No, I think maybe he played the twist, and I think Woodrow came on. I'm trying to think what he did with the strikers, and you've got
Carlton went off,
and Taylor came on, didn't he? And I think maybe he was chasing the game, and actually I think a lot of us, like I said, would have taken a draw. And you think when you've got Nakamba and Krause on the bench at that time, and you're thinking he's gone a little bit more, not necessarily more attacking, but he hasn't brought those CDMs on and gone, do you know what? Look, we're in control of the game. Let's just shore it up and let's just make sure we get a point here. And if we nick one on the break and nick it, great. But let's not concede. But it just felt like he twisted and went a little bit for the game.
Yeah,
and it cost us.
We can talk about Joe Taylor till the cows come home. People have different opinions on him. Just when he came on, though, he was ineffective. He touched the ball twice, literally twice.
I feel sorry for the lad. In that we've been calling for him, and then the 2 times he gets some reasonable minutes, his Leeds away and Norwich away. Play him, start him from the start at Stoke at home, and then let's see what he can do.
Well,
but he won't. But look, he's given him minutes at least.
Yeah, I would say maybe we are basing stuff on Joe for the wrong reasons. But anyway, let's see what happens another time. So I just want to talk briefly about their 3rd and 4th goals, because the 3rd goal, at the time, standing at the back of the terrace, and I said, we're wide open on this right-hand side. We're literally wide open. If they put the ball down there, we're done. And within seconds, they'd done it. And, they played the ball across well. Who was it who scored? Marcondes.
Marcondes, yeah.
Yeah, and he put it away well. And at 3-2, you're thinking, oh, well, we're going to lose 3-2. And I'm gutted because the 80th minute, we'd worked so hard to that point.
It was pretty much their first decent attack in the second half. From what I remember?
I can't remember Kaminsky making a number of fantastic... No. I just can't.
No. But look, we've... Again, not wanting to call... Look, we can't... McGuinness's half-hearted tackle, turning like a cruise ship. It was awful.
Cruise ship, I like that.
It was awful. But you can't have got the guy. He scored last week. You're cheering his name last week. You can't.
Oh no! Look!
You can't have a go at him the following week. But
there are errors, and there were blatant errors, and those that committed the blatant errors are the ones that you're sitting there going, "Come on!" At the end, the 3rd goal or the 4th goal? That was just Bell got done. He got roasted. The ball come across. Mengi could have tried maybe a little bit better. Then you got your 2 in the middle, and you just sit there and go, oh well.
There was 2. Yeah,
of course they're going to get that 4th goal.
There was no serious tracking back. There was a lot of jogging going on.
Maybe they just given up because
it felt like it.
Yeah, and
when you watch it back on the telly, it looks like it.
80 and 85 minutes,
but
and
you're just still only 3-2 down in that game where you're vaguely still in it and had a decent half, but arguably. arguably that's a worse result than the Leeds result. Because
Yeah,
if we go to Leeds and go, okay, you lost 3-0, but you've gone to Norwich and lost 4-2. That's a worse result. But we played better than we did against Leeds.
I think we did. Personally, I think we played better than we did against Leeds. I also think we was in for a good chance of winning that game. At one point, I thought we were going to win the game for my absolute naivety. But I just disappointed because everybody turns on the team. And I think there are some players that need to stand up and say, yeah, we was wrong. Look, 4-2, it's done. We need to move on. But after the game, and in the press interviews afterwards, Rob was very cutting about the players. And for the first time, he doesn't sit there and go, it's on me, it's on me. It's on the players. He was quite angry. Now, if you think about afterwards, there was a bit of booing. I say a lot of booing. There was booing. And the booing for me, that time was not at Rob. I think it was more at the players.
It was at the players. Yeah, from what I saw on social media of the clips since the game, it does seem to be at the players. There was one particular clip which...
do you know what though? With those sort of things, right, if you are angry with the player, but you don't have to be nasty to the player.
No.
What does that give them? You can say that you're not impressed by them or you've had a terrible game or however you want to phrase that. But to continually abuse a player in the way that piece of... I know we won't talk about who it is.
Yeah.
But the way that he continually abused that player is wrong.
It's massively uncalled for. And at the end of the day, that's not going to inspire that player to try any harder for us. In fact, he's going to go, I don't want to play for this club if you've got fans like that. You know, there's a way of venting. It's just totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable.
But you can understand the frustrations.
I can get the frustrations, but you can't be that personal about it.
Because as we said earlier, the crowd, the fans are split. And there's that togetherness is not all together anymore. It has definitely split. The Rob Edwards out team and the Rob Edwards in team and those that sit in the middle, you know.
Yeah.
And we're all the same. We all want the club to be successful. I genuinely want him to turn it around. But there comes a point at which we have to say, when does that change? And at the moment, like we've already said, he's staying. So it's time, whatever you think, is to maybe give him an opportunity.
It'd be really interesting to see. We've got 2 home games coming up, and arguably, sounds daft saying this when we've got such bad, but arguably winnable games. They should, at home, we should be looking to win those games. It'd be really interesting to see how the players react, because like you said, Rob never really goes in on the players.
No.
I can't recall off the top of my head.
I can't recall a time ever when he's been that angry.
No. So I'm not saying it's going to be make or break, but I wonder what that dressing room's like. I wonder what training's been like.
I'll tell you what we'll see. We'll see how the starting 11 is when we play Swansea.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if there are players that aren't in it and aren't up for it, being told off by the manager will make them go the other way, and they really will give up. Because they'll just go, I just want out of this club. So, and we'll see that.
If they just want out of the club, they won't get picked.
No, they won't get picked, and off you go. So January comes, off you go, because we don't want that kind of player. So I think they're personally, I think there probably is a little bit of a divide in players, and we know Rob has his favourites. There's no getting away from it. You can see from his selections and everything else. But what you'll get is that group that are with him that will now back him even more because he's gone in on some players. But the ones that aren't on his side or that group side will go the other way.
Look, again, I have to reiterate, we don't know what goes on in the training. We don't know what goes on in the dressing rooms. Do you really think there are some people that absolutely don't like Rob? Or do you think...
What, players or fans?
Yeah, players. I mean, fans are very vocal, and the vitriol against him has been, vocal all the time. Although I think on Saturday, I think he didn't need to take any of the blame, really.
No. I like I said, a couple of square pegs in round holes and stuff, but ultimately,
but they were doing okay.
But it was okay. It was okay. So no, I think the players do, and players have held their hands up to some extent. I do think there probably are players in that squad that think they're better than us. I think they should be playing at a higher level. and probably want out of the club. But
I think
we've said it before. If you want out of the club, go and put in 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10 performances every week and get yourself sold. Don't strop around or do,
or just take your money and just play a game.
Do your job.
Yeah.
That's what you get paid to do. Do your job.
It's really difficult.
I do think there are some, and you only need a couple of bad eggs to ruin the whole thing.
Ross Barkley once said that it's the best dressing room he's ever been in.
And when I spoke to him at the end of the season, I genuinely believe he loved his time at Luton and he loved the club. He loved being around the club. We saw it at the sponsors do, and you can see the togetherness. How that has been obliterated
feels it's been obliterated.
It feels it's been obliterated in the space of a handful of months is bizarre, absolutely bizarre. But they need to sort it out. If they can sort out whatever's going on, if they can sort it out off the pitch, we'll see the results on the pitch. Someone, board, manager, players, someone needs to sort out whatever's going on off that pitch.
Yeah, well, like I say, we don't really know, but we did ask you guys after Rob's interview on Saturday and his comments about the players, should they put their hands up and take the responsibility? And what do you expect to happen in the January transfer window? LTFC Dave says, collectively, players, manager and board can all be attributed to the position we're in, with the bulk of it on Rob, in my opinion. I expect us to do very little in January, and we'll get the usual claptrap about agents and leaving the window stronger from Gary Sweet in the first week of February. Rich says, Dave, I just think tiny bit harsh at the end there. Rich, absolutely. Rob rightfully has taken a huge amount of flack but the players have to take responsibility. He has every right to point the finger on this occasion and tell them, I am not protecting this time. This is on you. You lost us the game. Schoolboy errors, and Edwards said as such. As for January, we have to invest. We need some fullbacks. Jez says, yes, the players need to show some responsibility, but Rob consistently picks players in wrong positions, like Chong on Saturday, so he's equally to blame, particularly as he appears unable to motivate the players to play at the levels they played last year. As for the transfer window, I can't imagine the board loosening their purse strings on the basis of the last two windows. They will point to the purchase of Fanny. Is that how you pronounce
Fanny,
it?
yeah.
Fanny.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
It is what it is.
As their transfer window business, it's not getting any better. And Rob C said, yes, the players need to take responsibility for lack of application and errors. To be fair, Rob hasn't named names, so it remains to be seen how collectively they respond in the next game. Anything less than 4 points over the next two games must see the end of the manager. I think expectations are that we do need a big performance against Swansea and a bigger performance against Stoke our next two games.
I think, that's the first time I sort of looked at those. There's a lot of kind of my opinions on there as well. Rob, at the end there, anything less than 4 points next two games must see the end of the manager. It won't. It won't. But I agree. We've got, look, if we're not getting anything away from home, we've got to get these points home. I think if we lose both, I think then he's in trouble.
It gets difficult, doesn't it? Because it feels already we're running out of time, and although we're not, it just feels like it's on a slippery slope.
We're not running out of time for the season, Dave, but we're running out of time for what's coming up, a transfer window. If there's any inkling in their mind that they want to move him on, or he's going to move on, Christmas is the time, because someone can come in, analyse the squad and go, right, this is what we need. January transfer window, go and get it, and they can set up their squad. So I think the next 2-3 games are massively important. If we don't get any kind of any kind of points from them, I think someone has to make a move. I don't think they will, but for the sake of this season, for the sake of the club, I think something would have to change. So you'd have to do it now to make the most of, because if we don't get the results and he doesn't go Christmas time, New Year, then he'll be staying till the end of the season, because who's going to come in after a transfer window? What would be the point in getting rid of him in February?
Yeah, I think the biggest issue, as I said earlier, is that you can't chuck out the players. Your players are your best assets in your club, and you can't get rid of them easily. And that's the amazingly annoying thing, is that I feel we have it in the squad to recuperate and get on it. But
I would like.
Can
We know Fane's coming in January. That would bolster the midfield. We need backup for Doughty.
Well, we need backup at the back for definite, and maybe another person up front who can fire some goals in.
If Lockyer is coming back, that would be like a new signing. That would strengthen the back. Look, we got Raoul Walters.
How's your luck?
How's your luck?
Yeah.
So
Burke injured, playing out of position.
Playing out of position. We know his hamstrings are bad. Don't play him as a wing back.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Keep him as centre half and give him less running to do. Yeah. So I think we need the cover for Burke for Doughty. I think if Lockyer comes back, that the defence should be fine. We've got Fane coming in midfield, and I do think. Look, I do like Morris for what he's done. How much more we're going to get out of him over the future? He always looks like he's running with dodge.
Yeah, but he's working really hard.
He is. But you've got to look ahead. I don't think they see Taylor as the answer. I think they've got to be looking at. They're not out there, but I think they've got to be looking for a striker, a prolific striker. And I know that comes at money, but I think they've got to. They've got to do that.
Maybe they will spend. We just
but that's the thing. So I think for me, in that January transfer window, a striker coming in, not necessarily one for the future so far down the line, but one that might do a bit this season and going on to next season they might favour him more than a Taylor or for me, I think Woodrow's time we could move Woodrow on. You take Woodrow and Taylor out and bring in one quality striker, a proven one at this level, one that's been there and done it, and a cover for left wing back, and we should have enough in that squad to be competitive.
Look.
But that's what I'd hope. That's what I'm hoping. Look, I want Rob to still be in charge. I want Rob to turn it around. I want him to fix whatever's going wrong, and a couple of players alongside Fane to come in January.
We're always going to giggle when you say that name.
Yeah. It's not as bad as the one that plays for Man City, though. The young lad that plays for Man City. That's the commentator's nightmare. I'll let you all look it up. But that's what we want. But if you then get to February and that happens and it's still not working, then like I said, but then that's not the time to do it. We're entering a real tricky time coming into this Christmas period. I don't think the next two games are be or end all.
Well, I think next game is really, really important. So let's just briefly think. I know we've got the lads; they've already put their scores up. But what do you think for Swansea?
Swansea, what have I gone with?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
I've gone for a Desmond. I've gone 2-2.
Oh. Well, I'm going to go back to my Watford prediction, and I'm going to go 3-0. Because I just feel there's a performance coming, and why not let...
We've been saying it for too long, though,
mate,
Dave.
Listen, if I don't go with that, I won't be going to the football anymore.
I know, but this is the problem, isn't it?
This is how I feel.
We've got 2 home games, we've got another one under lights, and we're getting excited. If they don't get us excited in the next 2 games, when are they?
Well, that's the point, isn't it?
Is it going to click?
There's been games that I've gone to this season where I've gone, I'm going to the football.
Yeah.
And, even it just... Anyway... That's the way to end it, isn't it? I feel really bad.
We just so want them to do it, don't we?
Yeah, I think that is it. And, away travel is great fun, and I love going away, and I love meeting people, and I love just seeing the team play away. And you invade, their areas. But it's not been that much fun this season. What have we got? 8 on the road, or 6 on the road? I can't remember.
6,
7.
In a row, yeah.
I would have said that Jake would have written that down. But I can't bother to look it up anymore. So sorry, Jacob, if you'd written it down. Whilst I was at Norwich, I just want a quick shout out to a few people that come over and said hello, because I just said I'd give a mention. So Andy, Smithy and Nathan, thanks for coming over and saying hello, and glad that you enjoy the pod and you watch it on YouTube. If you haven't done that before, please just slip over there and do that. Like and subscribe if you can, because it does help us loads. And we'll be back. Darren, thanks for coming up. Just the two of us is a long chat together. So thanks for sticking with us till this point of the pod. Like and subscribe, as I said, and we'll be back after the Swansea game. And let's hope that my 3-0 prediction is right.
Please.